So when you hear food deserts, what immediately comes to mind?
Something that comes to mind, I want to say it was something that I talked about in cultural diversity, but basically, kind of what happens is in certain communities, there really aren't like grocery stores and things like that that people are able to go to, and a lot of times it's lower income communities, and unfortunately, it also kind of ties into like people feel that it's sort of racist and things like that because it's very specific communities that tend to have these problems.
It means that in your neighborhood, there's not enough access to high quality sources of food. So it's kind of like being on a desert, right? If you're on a desert island, there's nothing around you that can nourish you, right? There's just sand, and you can't eat sand. So food desert is very similar. It's not necessarily that that the people who live there are suffering from not having enough food. It's that, and they're related, right? But they aren't the same. It's that people who live in food deserts don't have enough access to, especially fresh foods, fresh, nutritious foods. So things like vegetables, things like non-processed meats, things like fresh fruits are what's missing in food desert.
Now, how do Lewis students get involved in this?
That's a good question. So I think that certainly we all have voices, right? And we can use our voices to make a difference. We can contact our legislators, right? Whether on a local level, state level, or federal level. Right, that's part of why we see people like Rahm Emanuel, right, at the local level, and Michelle Obama at the federal level becoming involved because there were enough voices saying, hey, we need food, right, and we don't have fresh food, so we're seeing increases in obesity, we're seeing increases in high blood pressure, increases in diabetes. We need to remedy this. So that's one thing that we can do, right? We can put pressure on lawmakers. We can also talk to people we know if they own grocery stores or if they know people who know people who know people, right? We can use the networks that we have to bring awareness to the topic. And another remedy is one that's much more locally based, right? We think about Walmart, we think about Walgreens, we think about Jewel coming in, and those can be real booms, but we also can think about the people who are in the neighborhoods who are doing work, and that's something that we can partner with people on the local level, right? We can go in and plant community gardens. If we're nursing students, we can go in and talk to people about the health impacts of food. If we are in social work, right, we might be able to come up with a program linking local schools with fresh sources of vegetables at lunchtime. So there are a number of things that students can do. I think first of all, it's just using your voice, and as you become more aware, making other people aware, and then we can scale up to think about ways that we can use these voices together to unite and come up with solutions that really make a difference.